Just harmony reverse. Okay, got it. And when I do it, I won't be using my sound either. Just
All right, let's see here. Thanks for the patience, everyone. Let's see if we're live. Seems like we are. Possibly. Getting there.
sorry for the delay.
As soon as we get the all clear that we're live, we will begin.
Yeah, I think it's not. I think all the problems I've been having is just Sandpoint. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Because this seems to be just loading. All right, everyone, I'm just going to check, see what's happening over in. So we're live, so we're. Right, I am going to be checking the live on my phone. So if you all haven't. Let's see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to.
I feel like downstairs might be better, but
Well, I just connected to my. All right, let's see.
a very quiet washer. I gotta take a picture of that washer. I'm gonna buy that washer.
All right, let's see. Are you guys with us? Let me see here how we're doing. Oh, yay, Sherry is on saying we're live.
Oh,
so
good.
Sherry, can you tell us if you can see and hear us okay right now? Because we are having, I'll tell you what, folks, anyone who is watching us from wherever, Sandpoint, Idaho sucks when it comes to their internet service, just as an FYI. If anyone is interested in visiting here or coming here, it is no
Bring your
bueno.
hotspot, I guess.
Okay, Sherry saying it was freezing, now it's working. Sherry, you are bomb
Thank
diggity.
you.
Thank you for telling us because we are struggling here. Okay, awesome. Yay. All right, so we're officially on Madelaine and Amalia together in person. Hi. It's so exciting. So as you probably have seen with Madelaine when we do these shows that she'll go in and out and she freezes. We have to do all sorts of things. She's been really creative and clever in finding ways to work around it. And we had to be very creative and clever today too, but we did it. We're on. We are talking about the Libra New Moon. I know I mistyped it in the description. I'm going to change that. Libra New Moon eclipse, October 14th at 1:55 p.m. Eastern, which would be, I need to do the math.
It's about 10 a.m. here.
Yeah.
I'll pull that up.
So
exact time here.
We're going to, Madelaine's going to show you the chart. So what's so interesting, I feel like, about this is when I was looking at the chart, and you'll see it in a second, is there's a lot of these triangular shaped, no, don't move that one.
Oh, just tilt it, because
What are you doing?
I'm out of the screen here, but I was going to say if you tilt it just a tad bit this
Well,
way.
that you're looking at yourself.
Right.
Here is your.
Okay, but I'm half cut off.
Like
Yeah.
that? Okay, cool. All right, so So essentially what we are, what we're talking about is this Libra New Moon eclipse, and it is a solar eclipse, ring of fire, actually. So you're going to be seeing a, if you were to be out in it, which I don't necessarily recommend, honestly, because if you look around in nature, if you follow the natural order of things, animals go inside, go into their burrows or into their caves, or they are not out in that eclipse energy. We feel it, we sense it, we have that experience without actually having to be
in it. Yeah.
So it's really, see, I think we're all, there we go.
Yeah, but when I come forward, you don't see me, just so you know. Look, see, I'm cut off.
Yeah, I know, we're yeah. Well, you won't be forward the whole time, you're just going to be for
when
that.
I do this.
Yeah. So at any rate, we are, let me just pull this energy back in. Sorry, folks. With Madelaine and I in the same space, it's even harder.
It's weird for me to look at it and I'm seeing half my head. So
Yeah.
It's hard for me to concentrate.
Well, don't look at you, look at the chart.
No, I know, but
It's in your face.
Yes, it just feels weird. Can you just turn it a tilt, just tad over to the right? There we go. There we go. There we go. That's better. Thank you. Just feels weird having that camera on my cutoff point there. All right.
So with this, when you see the chart, which Madelaine's going to pull up in a moment, there's a number of triangular shapes. And when I think of a triangle, I think of creation. I think of the pieces, the fundamentals that you need to create something new, to create something different. And it can be if you think of two triangles, you've got a triangle that points up, that points to this divine information, and you have a triangle that points down, a triangle that anchors whatever it is, that divine information that you're bringing in onto earth. And that's where we are right now. We're in this pivot point. And I'm curious, anyone out there, are you feeling that sense of change? Like something is pivoting, something is changing within your life that you're ready to take on, that you're ready to step into, even if you don't know what it is. And that's one of the key points too, is that right now you may be feeling that sense of change and feeling that sense of something is getting ready to happen, but you don't know what it is. And that's okay, because you're not supposed to know now. You're not meant to know. You might have a hint. I have a hint of some things for me. Do you? How about for you?
Kind of, not really yet, not yet. This is actually kind of a surprising eclipse. I think a lot of people, when I do reads for them, there's a lot of stuff they don't see coming, they don't see as happening.
Yeah.
So it is definitely a surprising turn of things that it's hard to see. Some people can feel it. Yeah, some stuff is showing up by now. You could say that my mother passing is an eclipse thing. I mean, a lot of things start happening in the eclipses before that are eclipse related. My dentist thing, it's very eclipse.
Well, and even on this, taking this trip for me was a thing where I didn't expect Sandpoint to be anything. I mean, you were here and that's the draw for being here, but I didn't expect to come here and to feel a sense of connection to this place, a connection to the people, everyone I've met here. Shout out to Dan if you're watching, that are just awesome, and the gal Linda that I met in the crystal shop this morning, and just everyone around is just delightful. Even
pretty earth grounded types.
Yeah.
It's grounding energy here, I feel, as well, for me.
It's beautiful. Yeah. I mean, you have the water, you have the mountains, and I don't know, it just feels like it's like this little gem of a place that has a little, I think you said the word sparkly. It has a little bit of a sparkly energy to it as well. And so again, it's a surprise element.
Yes.
So do you want to show the chart, and we can talk a little bit about the eclipse itself? Yeah. And there was something else that came through this morning related to this eclipse that I wanted to share with everyone. With any of the moon energies, it's an opportunity for us to really come within and feel our way through what's coming up. Feel free to share whenever you're ready. And when we're feeling our way through, we were talking about heart and that heart-centeredness. When we're feeling our way through, we're really guided to our highest and best path. Right. And so this eclipse energy, I feel like, is going to be pushing us there. Yep. And anchoring in some new energy that's going to carry it through for a very long time. Yeah. potentially the rest of our lives, like really connecting us with our divine path, our destiny.
Yes,
So
absolutely. It's the tilt and the turn towards our evolution and our real fated destiny that we're not really necessarily fully cognizant or fully conscious of. So the more unconscious, well, it's not about necessarily being unconscious, but the more we're unaware of some of these paths that we've gone off towards, in other words, where we've veered off path, as it were, we now get veered back on path. And it isn't exactly clear to us because that's why we veered off the path. Right. Because that's why we were trusting of that choice, or we were usually an eclipse activates, it's a lunar transit, so it activates deep unconscious truths, hiddens. That's why, you know, you find illnesses will do that on certain people's transits. They're gonna discover maybe some sort of unhealthy thing in their life that they've been doing that then reveals a health issue, which they now change. So it changes. It's like I have an infection in my tooth I had no idea I had. So it's like, and because we're squaring Pluto, so there's deep secrets coming out, deep truths coming out, and it's in the sign of Libra. So it's going to be about how it's very much about relationships, and very much about because Libra is trade, agreements, partnerships, collaborative type things, like kind of like what we're doing. And then also you always really want to see the reference point of the eclipses in your life and the pattern that these particular eclipses have, shall we say, activated in your own chart, because this is the same 18-year cycle. So about 18 years ago, everybody wants to look at their chart, 2004, 2005, and see what collaborative, because this with the South Node in Libra, there was something or relationship that you let go of, or something that we released, because when you're headed to this is a new moon solar eclipse, which means this is a new beginning, something new opens up in our lives. I have a diagram in my phone, so basically what this means is that the sun, let me get my phone for a minute, the eclipse, because I took a picture of this, is very interesting. So the eclipse which is a new moon solar. So then that means the, did I not put it on? Oh, it's on my laptop. Okay, never mind. So it basically means that the moon and the sun are together. And so the moon blocks out the sun.
right.
So it's like this period where it's the complete reset.
Yeah.
And anything that you thought, it's sort of like resetting your mind, your head, to the truth of your soul, to the truth, the lunar truth, because we got the sun shining on the moon. And right now, for that period of time that the eclipse is there, we don't know. We're like, it's a reset. So some sort of mind thinking programming gets wiped around a situation, and then you change your mind really radically, and then your actions reflect that, and then that's how it changes your destiny.
What comes to mind when you say that is, because it is that Libra energy, which is the mental, because we're talking about the moon, which is emotional at heart, there is that sense of the combination of the two, and then bringing the sun in, that to me just fires it up, because we also have Aries is connected to, because that was just the last full moon we had.
Yep.
So we had, and the nodes are in Aries and Libra. So we have a sense of taking action from a place of mental and heart collaboration. That's not the word I'm looking for.
Right.
Where they're working together, they're in unison. They are
The Aries and Libra axis, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a cohesiveness to it. Yeah.
Well, yes, because basically what's going to be happening for all cardinal signs in the next 18 months is this is a cardinal eclipse series, because so what does that mean? That's the angular houses. So it basically impacts all Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So whatever planets anybody has at 21 degrees in those signs are going to feel it absolutely. This is those people's 18-month rattling of their lives, like completely rattling up. So, and again, angular house eclipses, when they're involving the cardinal signs, we're looking at seasonal major shifts in everybody's lives. I mean, these are big pivotal shifts.
What really concerns me, as I'm thinking about Capricorns right now, is that Capricorns have had a hard go of it, and they were starting to feel like, oh,
freedom.
I can breathe. And then now I feel like we're getting walloped a bit again. Would you say
Well,
that's the case for them?
Yes, because Pluto is still a little bit left here in Capricorn. So we're going to move, Pluto's going to move out of Capricorn here very well. It's going to move direct here on the 10th of this month. And then it takes about a couple of months to get back into Aquarius, and the energy just lightens up. It really does. You'll feel a buoyancy, very, very strong.
Okay, so hang in there, Capricorn.
Yes, but this eclipse does really activate this Pluto because Mars is conjoining the South Node. So there's Mars at 1 degrees. But right before the eclipse, Mars will join the South Node, because what indicates an eclipse? Because if you ever look at someone's birth chart and you want to know if they were born on eclipse, all you have to do is see if the nodes are near their moon or their sun or their ascendant.
Right.
So, we've got the South Node conjoining this eclipse. So, and this is a new moon. So what that means is that in order for something new to happen, we have to release something else. So, like for instance, we'll go through all the houses, but in some houses, a new opportunity comes in, but you have to, like, let's say somebody moves because it's the 4th house, you're going to move, and then you're going to sell your house to move.
Right.
So you're going to be, so there's a point of release. You can't go somewhere new and keep the old thing at the same time.
Yeah, right. Well, and we have Diane is on line. She's a Capricorn, and we were talking about Capricorn. She was like, well, that's just awesome. And I can't tell, I think she's being sarcastic.
Oh, no.
And also
at the
same time, it's okay, just take a breath through this period of time. It's limited. It's not that long, because on the other side of it, it really is okay. And I feel like, and maybe I'm misreading the energy, but it also feels like all of the things that have happened that have been challenging and been tough have been leading to this point. And this is just like another little bit.
Right.
It's not going to be like it was before.
No.
Energetically speaking.
Yeah. So eclipses are very karmic. There's a very, and so it's sort of the energy of Capricorn with Pluto there was very much deeply investigating and penetrating karma, like going deep down. And so we had this little bit more to go through before it was completely cleared of this karmic baggage. It's like a test. Did you clear your karmic baggage? Did you clear your fear? Because Pluto, Capricorn is survival fears. So it's like we're being rattled out of the survival mentality and into thrival mentality and taking risks, Aries North Node. So we're coming up with this eclipse because it squares Pluto in Capricorn. So it's basically what deep down subconscious psyche issue or deep down fear do you have that's blocking you from your new direction in life, from your new path, from the new instigation that comes with this full new moon. And so people might be radically, again, this is that radical release. Certain situations, whatever house this is hitting in your chart, there's going to be a radical release that tilts your destiny. And South Node is old karma. It's like, and it's also the point of stuckness. So there's been some area in our lives where we've been stuck for like 18 years. And so this release, this big release, it's like literally you have a truck full of trash and you empty it out at a dump, and now you've got this big empty truck and you're like, what am I going to do with this big empty truck? You've got this whole new potential of openness to go forward.
And I think if you think of it that way, if you think of it as you have all this space, it's like moving into a new house. You're going from one place, especially if it's a bigger house.
Right.
And you move into this big house and you think, oh my gosh, I have all this space. And the next thing you know, it's filled with stuff again.
Exactly.
So it's just,
and let's say you get off all your credit, you're out of credit, you're out of debt. Then you go get a loan and you buy a new car. You're back in debt.
Yeah. It could show up in all sorts of ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with the Aries element that you were talking about with involved, and plus we do have Chiron in Aries. This is very, and Pluto's about power struggles. So the people, because we're going to get Pluto going into Aquarius soon, the people are gaining their power back, because every time I throw cards on this, I get the Magician card. So it's like we're releasing the imbalances, Libra being an imbalance, right? So we're releasing something in our lives that's been throwing us very strongly out of balance and has been building and throwing us out of balance. And we haven't necessarily seen it. And so we usually don't see it potentially because Libra is the energy of diplomacy and people pleasing and making everything. Well, that gets released. So you could theoretically think that that's going to be war because you're letting go of diplomacy, and then we're going towards nodes Aries. But with the South Node Libra, with the Mars there, it's a soft, passive, diplomatic Mars. But still, there are many people who are going to find sudden releases of outbursts of anger because Libra Mars is weak. But Mars K2. This conjunction hasn't happened, I think, since in the 70s, 80s. Way back. We haven't had the nodes conjoining Mars in Libra for a very, very long time. I think it might even be 70 something years. I have to go back and look. But the point is that this is such a bit, it is a huge release. You know what I mean? So this is like a rare combo in Libra where we release the relationships that are unbalanced. We release job situations that were unbalanced, that we're giving too much and not receiving enough back in. So we're really seeking to shift in situations that have been out of balance, that we've been trapped in, and we haven't really been able to find our way through. So these eclipses will do it for us.
And we're coming back to ourselves. We're
Yes.
actually beginning to honor ourselves in a whole new way in that process too.
Yeah, it is very, very connected to self-value. This eclipse series is that is exactly right. Being and doing what you want, being kind of like more, shall we say, tuned into your authentic desires, letting go, because Aries is about our desires. And so we're letting go of like, shall we say, compromising our desires for somebody else, or compromising our desires, working in a situation as paying well, that's got okay benefits, but it's not what we desire. It's not what feeds us. So Aries North Node comes in and says, it burns you. It's inside you. I want to do this, you know.
Well, and I feel like that's really something that's hard for people to do.
Yeah.
Is to first of all, to speak up about what their desires are, but to know what they even are to begin with.
Yeah.
There's so many people, and myself included, for many, many years, where my needs were not even on my radar because I was so focused on what does everyone else need and what does everyone else expect of me.
Right.
So I would show up the way others wanted me to versus how I really, what I really wanted, what I really desired.
Right.
And that can be very uncomfortable,
right?
Because you're going to potentially disappoint people.
Right. That is the other thing. We're letting go of expectations in relationships. We're letting go of expectations in, but see, the South Node with Mars is somebody really lets you down, or you really drop, you really let them go. So, and then at the 21 degree point in this last decan, it's like we're initiating a new lesson here that we haven't. So in other words, this is an 18-year cycle in your chart. You can go back to your chart 18 years ago, 2004, 2005, and you'll see the theme of this eclipse for you, this repeat cycle, right? But it will be different because I don't know what degree points they were at that eclipse. But with this eclipse is happening in the third decan. So it's almost like we're in the third chapter of a lesson that we're doing here.
So, and for those who don't know what Madelaine's talking about with the decans, basically there's 30 degrees, but in each sign. Right. So 0 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30. And this is the last decan, the 21 to 30 range. And so or 20 to 30. And in that range, it's you're wrapping things up, you're completing it. And so this is a really big time for all of us.
It's sort of like the beginning of the last chapter of this theme that's running in your life. So now, for instance, I'm Cancer rising. So this theme is running in my 4th and 10th. And 18 years ago, I initiated a house renovation project. And so that's my cycle again. But now I learned so much from that. I have a much more advanced perspective of it all. And I've been afraid to start my next project because this eclipse is facing some sort of fear that's holding you back.
Right.
And this is a lot about money because Libra is money in the sense it's Venus, ruled by Venus. We have Mars, we have Jupiter and Uranus in the Venus ruled sign. And so there's a lot of money, relationship type energies here. So at that time that I renovated my house, my ex-husband and I were, co-joining finances to do this project, which really was extremely fruitful. So so now we're doing it the last cycle. I'm now taking, so whoever, we're all going to be doing this on some level on this cycle where we now take the advanced level, because really the third Dinkian is more advanced. And but also it can be in a weird way, slightly more difficult because you're taking on more, you're challenging yourself.
Well, so do
yeah.
you want to share something in the chart, since we have the chart
That's
up,
true.
and then
Mhm.
and then we'll jump into the signs.
Yeah. So we have Venus, ruler of this eclipse, in the sign of Virgo, which is awkward and weak. Virgo in Mercury, it isn't fabulous, but it comes out of combustion later. So it's kind of interesting. So, and then we have Mars Libra, which is kind of weak.
Mm-hmm.
So on K2, so it's kind of like we're giving in, we're letting the truth, we're too weak to fight the soul. We're this that almost like when an eclipse has the planet ruling the eclipse is debilitated. It's like saying you can't will this into a different thing anymore. You can't will it. You're not having a lot of power to shift this destiny. The destiny is going to happen the way the universe wants it to happen, and we're sort of debilitated in the ruler of it, which means we're really succumbing to something that's out of our control.
I liken it to if you're on the water and you're fighting against a current, it's almost like lay back and let the current take you instead of fighting against what's there.
Well, yes, except that the nodes are in Aries, so you're going to be paddling as well.
Oh, okay. So floating and paddling.
Yeah, you're basically what you're doing is you're paddling your boat and you see this breakwater or something coming in and you got to go this way.
Okay.
And you can't control it, and you don't have the strength to fight that way. You can't go that way because you're not strong. The planet isn't strong enough to take it that way. So in other words, we're not being given very much willpower. That makes sense, because the planet that rules this eclipse is in detriment. So it means the will of the universe is overpowering it. Does that make sense?
It does. I feel like too, okay, to kind of continue with the water sports analogy.
Yeah.
So you see that there's breakwater, some rapid, something rough, that's ahead of you. And you're going, ooh, that seems like it might be a little challenging. I'm going to go this way. So it requires a little bit of action, but not like anything major. Right. It's almost like going left instead of right. It's not like you have to, navigate some huge thing. It's just a small shift.
Yep. It could be pretty spontaneous too, with Uranus in this mix, in the sense that it's being ruled by the same planet that is ruling the eclipse. So we are looking at radical, and Uranus is at 22 degrees. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there is a connection there. It's a quintile. I don't know how, I don't study those, but so it's interesting because this Uranus being at that same 22 degree points, which means that if you have any planets in your chart, 21, 22, 23, or 3 degrees below 21, 22, like 20, 18, 19, 20, anything in there, give it a 5 orb degree range, you're going to be this eclipse. So not only is this eclipse accessing or aspecting your 21 degree planet placement, you also have Uranus coming in and activating that 21 degree point. 20, yeah. And it's kind of close to Pluto at 27 degrees. It's a wide range. So you're really getting a double whammy, even though Uranus isn't directly touching this eclipse, is going to impact your chart if this eclipse is. So you are going to see a sudden shift in direction, a sudden out of the blue. And again, we'll go through all the houses and we'll talk about that, but it's going to be not what you expect. I can tell you that. And this is a wild card. And when I'm doing readings, like what's going to happen on this eclipse, we're like throwing cards out. Let's figure it out, because we do know one thing you can be absolutely sure is that your life is going to change in some radically liberating way, because Uranus, also being a part of this eclipse with Jupiter pretty near, is liberating us. So, it's totally liberating the situation that whatever house that aspects is going to liberate you. So it's a positive eclipse, but again, we may see it as a crisis, but it's like the tooth thing. I have a tooth infection I didn't even know I had. So this eclipse revealed, because I went to the dentist, revealed that I have all these squares to my Mercury, reveals that I have a tooth infection. I didn't even know it. So it's like, it was a radical kind of, wow, I had no idea, and energy about that, you know. And you could say I knew something, there was a little bit of feeling like something might be wrong, but so that's part of the eclipse thing. It's a complete surprise.
All right, well, let's maybe stop sharing, and then we will jump into the signs,
Okay.
and see what's in store. I don't know, you might still need to be on your laptop in order to look at everything. So we'll start with Aries.
Okay, I'm going to go to hours here. Hour.
Let's see. I'm going to try to make sure I can keep you in the frame. We set this up not factoring in the whole laptop situation. So,
all right. So we're going to start with it on Aries. Let's get to Aries. I'm not sharing the screen right now.
No.
Okay, so I'm going to Aries on the 1st. Let me go back. Aries. Okay. Aries in the 1st house. There it is. Okay, Aries in the 1st house. This puts Rahu and Chiron in your 1st house. And wow, actually, this is really an abundant situation for potentially very abundant for Aries, because they have a part of fortune there, which is kind of interesting because it's aspecting this eclipse as well, which is indicating that finances and abundance is really strong. We're really shifting to a higher frequency or a higher chapter in the shall we say, financial potential. So these are new beginnings that can launch with very abundant finances, because you have Jupiter and Uranus in your 2nd house. So this is pretty great, actually, for you guys. I think this is a really liberating eclipse for Aries. They've got the nodes there. There's new beginnings that you're taking really powerful. You're really taking the confidence and the desire to take this is coming from somewhere really deep, it resonates on a deep level. It feels really right. There's a motivation. It's firing up your power chakras, your lower chakras, motivating you to act. And the Chiron in all of us in our charts, it's been in Aries for all this time, has been working us up to this, building up to this thing where the nodes are going to conjunct the Chiron, which gives us the confidence, the chutzpah to do this. So, and again, there's always a potential of a crisis in the 1st house, because somewhere your ego and identity or your things that you believed about you will be completely transformed. You'll probably become a completely new person, because you're going to have a radical shift in a belief system, but because you're going to let go of imbalanced relationships that are holding you back, and a habit of giving yourself too much to relationships that are not really in alignment with your true destiny. You're going to align with your right relationships, your true people, your true person, because this eclipse is actually in your 7th house, which means you're going to radically release a relationship and initiate very strongly a new one. But again, these relationships can be business partnerships. They can be, trade agreements, lawyers, a bunch of different things. So so you can probably already see that you're going to be needing to fire somebody or let somebody go at this point for Aries. So that's Aries.
So Madelaine, really quickly, would you mind logging out of the thing on there, so that way we have it?
Sure.
Yeah. There's so many, you have no idea. It would probably be good for us to take a picture and show you all like all the stuff that we're doing here. It's crazy. So black bat flower, let me see right there, is the flower for Aries. Wow. And when you look, this flower I think came up last time. I don't remember for what sign, but this activates fierce compassion. It magnifies strength, confidence, and fearlessness. And I feel like that is pretty much what you were talking about with Aries being able to take these bold steps and these bold moves within relationships, letting go of things, what's not working for them. And this feels like, just look at that. That feels like a transformational, fundamentally different energetic for Aries.
Yeah.
It's completely different. And I love the purple too.
It sort of feels like they're coming, the Aries energy is because this is that last sort of decan, they're really more developed and more confident or something. There's something more developed and mature about that energy, because Aries is the 1st zodiac sign. So it's kind of can be a little immature.
Yes.
So it feels like that.
Sorry, any Aries that are listening, watching. Okay, so let's move on now to Taurus.
Okay, Taurus. Taurus. Where am I going? Going the wrong way here. I'll get there. There's Taurus. I'm dyslexic, so I go the wrong way. There's the, okay, good. Here we go. Oh, there's Taurus. Okay. So you guys have we have Rahu and Chiron in your 12th house. So you guys are definitely soul searching and finding a new destiny that's really aligned with your soul. You're very much ready for something though, because it's then going to process, because you've already had the nose in your first house. So now you're really coming up some kind of a soul, a connection to something you really, really desire from your soul that you feel is part of that is a truth for you, that you've been running away from, that you haven't had confidence to do. You now take initiative to go forward with it. And with the eclipse in your 6th house, it's a very good chance you have to let go of something you've been doing on a day-to-day that isn't good for your health. That may have something to do with with the nodes up there in your 12th house, some sort of a soul issue or fear or something causing you to have a day-to-day habit or addiction that isn't good for you. That's going to get released. Also just the way you've been living on a day-to-day, something may have been unhealthy about your routine. So you now let that go. You now create a new, much better, healthier routine for yourself. So you guys still have Jupiter in your first house. You guys are initiating new things. Who do I look at? This, you, here. Okay.
You can say here or here.
Who do I look at?
I know.
Okay.
It's odd. We're used to looking at each other.
Yeah, I know.
On the
I'm like,
screen.
to you, you're right here.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So basically, with Jupiter there, you're still in a powerful state of initiation of some new venture you probably started and got going on that nose when they were in Taurus last year. So we're really seeing actually, because Saturn is trining Taurus descendant, so they're possibly letting go of relationships that they work with. You might be firing people that you've hired. That's in your 6th house. And then Saturn comes in and trines you with new, better relationships. Really good, actually. So then, and also a health issue could show up. What we already mentioned, but a work project, because 6th house can also be work, because it's what you do on a day-to-day. So you may let go of a job or working for people and start working for yourself. What else can I think of before we change?
What I think is really interesting is when you were talking, just the outset of Taurus, Rose came through, and Rose, highest vibrational flower. It also has to do with love, particularly when it's red. And the message is nurture yourself. So how I receive this as it relates to Taurus for this eclipse is for them to really take some time to love themselves, to nurture themselves, and to be attentive to what is showing up for them in their lives.
Right.
What is happening within their inner world that they can translate into their outer world. Because with the 12th house, that's a lot of inner reflection and introspection and getting to know yourself. So this is an easy one for people to bring into their world. You just go to the grocery store and buy roses. It's pretty simple, pretty easy, you know? Yeah. So Taurans, go buy some roses.
I do think Taurans are going to hit a big fear. This whole eclipse is for everybody. We're releasing deep fears that have stopped us from having the courage to do what we really want. That's kind of what this is going to be.
Okay.
And especially for Taurus the most, because they have the nose in their 12th house, which is really the root of our deep fears. It's usually in the 12th house, which is a lack of spiritualism on some way, or a lack of faith in divine providing for you, or lack of faith in your soul and in your soul's truth, not trusting your soul direction. And it will somewhat be related to a past life. So in other words, whatever you're starting to initiate here with this nodes in your 12th, they're going to be something that you already inherently have a very strong skill level around that you can take forward. And that really is something you can rely on and land on. You're going to be okay. Whatever we take courage to do right now, we're going to be okay. It's going to be abundant. This is an abundant eclipse.
Trust feels like a big theme.
Yeah.
A really big theme for this particular eclipse, to be really
trust the new direction that this is trying to take us in.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So Gemini.
Oh, Gemini. Let's see. Gemini. the Gemini here. On the other side of Taurus. Okay, Gemini, you guys are going to have the North Node in your 11th house, which is great because the North Node in the 11th house is
sorry. I'm trying to get Madelaine over here. So
yeah, I know, I
just see her.
well, you don't have to see me, that's fine. All right, so the North Node in the 7th house is, the 11th house is really good, actually. This is Gemini, you guys are going to have a really fun time right now in this eclipse. We meet a whole new group of people, but you're letting go of friends that aren't really your destiny. And what else? We're letting go of potentially being focused on our children, because the 5th house is children. So we could be letting go of a lot of children, being around our children, or trying to be always with our children. Helicoptering parent a little bit goes away. Or perhaps your child moves and leaves your home. He's grown up and leaves your house. That really does change your life a lot. And now you sort of start to initiate, maybe your child leaves your home and you start meeting new people and you start socializing and you're less at home. Or you've met a bunch of new people and you stop socializing and you, shall we say, new groups of people might pull you away from being so involved in your children, and you're more interested in this other situation. But again, when it's in the 11th house, there's some sort of gain, there's some sort of support, there's some sort of aid and help around, because the 7th house is, and the 11th house is people that come in and help you, people that join in the team, that join in on the project, that go forward. So for Gemini, somehow they gather a new tribe of people that really initiate and help them take a plan forward, take a project forward.
Well, with the night blooming Sirius showing up for Gemini, this basically is the courage to take the leap. So I don't know, it feels like we have that courageous sort of energy here, taking a leap in some way for them that is really connected to relationships, whether that's friendships or
and that's the Aries energy. It's very much about taking leaps.
Well, and it's initiatory,
right?
But then we also have the 11th house for them, so it's relationship oriented, friendships, and different people that you might meet.
Yeah, and your Venus houses is the 5th and the 12th. So it's activating your 12th house, because remember, your Venus houses are all going to be activated by this eclipse. So whatever houses are ruled by Venus you're going to see shifts and transitions in, or they're related. The other Venus houses are going to be somewhat related. So,
I don't know. I feel like people might get confused by that.
So in other words, Taurus. So in your chart, you have 2 houses ruled by each planet, except for the moon and the sun. So in other words, Mars rules Scorpio and Aries house.
Right.
Venus rules Taurus house and Libra house. So usually when you have an eclipse, you want to look at both those houses that are ruled by that planet, because those houses are impacted by the eclipse.
Right.
So your Venus houses, and so for Gemini, it's your 12th and your 5th. It's possible you initiate some sort of expansion, traveling foreign country traveling too, because the 12th house is traveling. You start a new project that takes you traveling with a new group of people that you meet.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, and it is actually the nodes, the 11th house trines your 9th house, sextiles your 9th house of travel. So it could be a really open door for travel and new friendships that initiate some sort of a travel. But again, this is going to be related to this cycle or pattern that happens in these series of eclipses. So it's some sort of project related to people that that is expanding your destiny, and you release a whole other set of people that are not, because your Libra's in your 5th house. So definitely letting go of toxic friendships and relationships that are not part of this new things that doubted you, things that couldn't be your authentic self, and things where people that were not in alignment with your new vision, but also simply that your new group of people are going to be all time consuming, because you're going to be in projects involved with other people. So these other people from the past sort of just drift away, that are not part of this new destiny. So,
all right, let's move on to Cancer. I feel like Gemini is pretty well covered.
Cancer, you guys have this. You have all your planets in the 11th house. You've got Jupiter there, which is great. I like that there. Let's see, you've got, so this eclipse is in your fourth house. So moon is the fourth house. It's mother, it's family. It's, what else? It's,
Ancestors.
yep, ancestral wounding,
Mhm.
ancestral patterns that have been coming in our psyche body that are subconscious, that have been holding us back, that give us this sort of programming that all of this stuff that we're letting go in Libra is old programming, just old programming from an era that we're not alive in anymore, you know. And in your heritage, you might be letting go of a mother. She may literally, physically pass.
Mm-hmm.
You might let go of your family and start, let's see, with Aries in your 10th house, your career is going to be much more front and center for about 18 months. So you're letting go of helicoptering your kids and being a mother, pretty much. That's what I'm doing. I'm
Working on
praying
it.
that I can trust my son with some certain decisions I hope he makes for the better. So we're really looking at releasing an old family. You could be going through a divorce. It could be finally the last level of a divorce. It's completely gone. That relationship completely releases. You move out, you leave that relationship. You might sell a home. You could even start a home project. That's what happened in my cycle in this eclipse. I started renovating a house, which I ended up selling in 2015, which gave me the money to start my next project, which I haven't started yet, but I've got it. But I couldn't, this eclipse, actually, I know for a fact, I will be initiating something on that piece of property.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have to pay taxes. So I have to do it before I have to pay taxes because it's a deduction.
Well, it's interesting. I got a message from my daughter-in-law this morning and about, I'm not going to go into the details of it, but it related in an indirect way to this energy of career with this sort of like 4th and 10th house vibe.
Right.
And so you might be noticing things, like you might be getting signs and symbols of information that's coming in that may be through, you know, through an animal that shows up, through a flower, through the clock, noticing the clock, or license plates, or numbers,
synchronicities.
These different things. And so I would recommend for anyone that might be happening to, if you notice numbers that keep showing up, or you notice animals or whatever it is, go online and just look up the meaning, spiritual meaning of them, because you might find this little nugget of information that's coming through for you that is just what you were looking for. It's like an answer to your question that you were able to find through these symbols and synchronicities.
Yeah. Yep. And then, you know, just to throw in this Pluto thing, because you've had Pluto in your 7th house. So Cancers are getting a lot of synchronicity about relationships and romance and things, because I know a bunch. And an interesting thing is Pluto there in your 7th house, Cancers have really healed because they've had Pluto there since 2008. That's when I got divorced. As soon as Pluto aspected my descendant, hit my descendant is 0 degrees Capricorn, and Pluto hit that in 2008. So that's if you have Pluto on your descendant, you're probably going to get divorced. There's a good chance of that. And if you're in your right relationship, then something really, there's a power struggle that you've been having in that relationship, which transforms, because Pluto's about power struggles. So for Cancer, they've won the power struggle. They've got their power back because they gave their power away to the relationship in Capricorn over the 7th. So this is a time where the fear, they really drop a fear because it's squaring their, for Cancer, that's squaring this eclipse is squaring the Pluto in the 7th house. So they've really healed the fear. They now have the courage, perhaps, to get into a relationship. This could open up the doors for a relationship for many Cancers. Go ahead.
So we have 2 flowers. We have the white water lily and the passion flower. Now, with both of these, what really strikes me about these, and since 2 of them came out, one of the white water lily activates awareness, and the message is sharpen your senses. So how I interpret this, based on what you were sharing, Madelaine, is that for Cancerians, it's really important for them to use not just their feelings around things that are happening in their world, but really pay attention to the whole full picture, not just one aspect. The other is passion flower. Okay, so that activates healing, sleep, and rest. Okay, that's all great, but I also take the
the passion flower, there's the vibe of passion flower. It's like, what are you getting excited about? You're looking at everything, your senses are sharpened. Now, what are you ready to activate? Now, what are you ready to do? Because we are in this place of, it's not quite clear, but it will be clear. And so
Yeah.
then how can you then move forward? So the passion flower and the white water lily for Cancer feels like the kind of like the superpower duo that will be really supportive for them going forward.
Yeah, that actually really resonates. That's very interesting because it's like one flower and then two. So it's like Cancers
Yeah.
that are single are now going to get into a relationship.
Could be. Yeah, could be. That would be interesting
Very,
to see.
very possible. Very strong for that.
Okay, Leo.
Leo.
Excited to hear about this.
Am I going the right way? No. Yes, I'm going the right way.
Yay!
Okay, good. All right. So we have Venus in your second house, still for Leo and Virgo. They have Virgo over the second. They have everything, all these planets. This eclipse is happening in the third house for Leo. And interesting. I was hanging out with a couple of Leos yesterday that I think this really So I was having this conversation with these Leos yesterday because this is really, really resonates with this eclipse, where they were like, I know I'm Leo and I know I'm supposed to get out, but I just don't really want to, and I don't really want to be Leo and be my full, bright, exciting self. And then for some reason, every time I was on Instagram yesterday, I saw these Leo people, like they were Leo and they were dancers and they were really and I looked, there's Leo.
Yes, she
Anyway.
is talking. I am one of the Leos she's
Yes, she
talking
was one of
about.
them.
Yes.
So what's going to happen for you, Leo people? You got the Aries over your ninth house, so you're having a whole and utter belief shift, because the Leo energy can be shadow aspect, can be narcissistic. Look at me, I'm so beautiful, and then shadow ego is I'm not enough, right? So now we're going to true ego, which is who you are, which is Leo, and you are performers and outward people and light, they shine light and inspire people. One of these Leo people has their feed on Instagram is literally, I dance to make you smile. And the dances are really fun. You can't help smiling.
Yeah.
So that's the Leo energy. So now Leos are going to have a complete and utter shift in perspective, beliefs that have been holding them back, that are based in fear and slightly low self-esteem, lower belief in their Leo-ness, their royal Leo-ness. And then they've got the South Node in their third house, which is thinking, communication, ideas. So they're releasing old, stagnant, rigid thinking. In fact, this is a very mind-opening eclipse. So something could happen in this eclipse that opens their mind up and changes them and steps them more into, all of us are stepping more into our authentic selves, being the third decan of Libra, meaning my path now is a culmination of the two last decans, where now I've learned how I can do this and be me. So with the third house, there's new information coming in, new ideas, initiating new websites, new social media ideas, new perhaps you start a new website, but you go back and fix it and change its topic matter, and you start people around you shift and change. Maybe somewhere else is happening in your chart that shows you moving. Maybe you have Cancer there in your ascendant or something, or your house, your sun. So you're moving. So you're meeting a whole new bunch of people. You've just met a whole new bunch of people.
Yeah.
She's traveling, ninth house travel. You meet a whole new bunch of people. And you collaborate. These are the energies of Libra, of collaboration, and we're talking about all kinds of ideas.
So many.
Yeah. So this is a collaborative energy and again, this is the Leo cracking open their ego to be of high service rather than the shall we say the mass consciousness of not to be Leo because you're just a show off. But that's not true, because we need people in the world that dance around and raise our vibration.
She's not talking about me with that. My dancing skills are not the best.
But the metaphor of that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's you've got Saturn in your eighth house, Leo, for 3 years. What else? And you've got Pluto in your sixth on your descendant here, Leo. So relationships, again, you might be radically leaving relationships if you're not in your right relationship and it's out of balance, or just whatever's out of balance in your relationship is going to be realigned.
What?
Yeah, potentially a health thing kicking in, but not, it would just be some people may be experiencing big health issues with Pluto there, which now is resolved.
Well, and I've been having those issues for quite some time,
right.
and I feel like they're coming to a place of homeostasis where
Good.
it's settling.
So what that means is you have power over it. You got your power back over that, but go ahead.
I'm close. I'm
Good.
close. Not quite there. I
Yeah.
can feel it. So Jasmine
Mm.
for Leo. And it's so funny. The message is you are beautiful. And literally when this
Wow.
card came out is when you were talking about doing this whole like Leo thing.
Yeah.
But it activates self-appreciation. And I feel like even though Leos can be very larger than life and look at me, sometimes we really don't appreciate ourselves and we don't appreciate the light that we do bring into a room. And
you know what? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
You have Venus in your second house, and second house is all about how you value yourself and what you believe in. And are you valuing, Virgo is very self-critical
yeah.
and not seeing your value. I mean, that's extremely aligned with the chart.
Well, and this was a big topic of conversation, like Madelaine said yesterday. And, it was there was an energy of with Leo, and for those who are Leos or you have any Leos in your life, there is this larger than life and very self-focused energy to them, but it's all heart. There's
right.
so much like love and joy that we really wish to bring and to shower on other people and to, let's all have some fun.
Yeah.
That's the vibe that I feel like we tend to bring, but we don't always appreciate that in ourselves.
Yeah. Yes. So that's pretty accurate, right there. All right.
Okay.
To Virgo. You pure, wonderful, pure people, Virgo.
Pure, wonderful, pure people.
Pure people. Well, Virgo are behind the scenes. They never really want anybody to pay attention to them. They're okay if they don't get any applause, but they work really hard and they do very well for people. So it's kind of like, I like to give Virgo a nice boost.
Little Virgo boost.
So Venus in your first house, but again, Venus is in debilitation in Virgo. So there's a little awkwardness to it. With this eclipse, it almost feels like Virgo, they're going to be vulnerable and sensitive because of that placement.
Okay.
A lot of Libra over your second house, a lot of planets there, big things happening in your second house, which is a new beginning in finances, a new way of earning money, something that is or you are, Taurus in your chart, second house, you have possessions, you have land, you start farming on it, you make money on it. But you have to let another way go that you've been making money, because you can't make money in two ways that are taking up so much of this time. You have to let one of the ways go. But this is going to be more abundant. This is more in alignment, and you know how to do this. This is across the board for everybody. To some degree, we have a certain handle of what we're all about to initiate here. And it is the thing that we really want. This is kind of a dream come true. So again, finances are going to be liberated here in the sense that it is possible you have a big expense and you have to let some money go. That would be a shadow aspect there. But if that happens, whatever the expense involves proves to be very beneficial for you. Let's say it's an 8th house north node. Let's say you have to pay off a debt. You have a balloon payment and you have to pay it off. Well, you paid it off. You had to do something or initiate another income to pay off that debt. Well, now that debt's gone. And then you've initiated a new income, but you want to think back on this 18-year cycle, second and 8th house. You could have somebody could pass away within this 18 months and you do get an inheritance. But this eclipse will bring you a new beginning in some way to make money that is not survival based. It could be based on a talent because the second house is really talented. Maybe you wake up to a talent you possess that really makes you money. And then it's squaring Pluto in your 5th house. So yeah, there's triggering possible from friendships or fear issues coming in a friendship group, or something very intense involving a child could happen. Hopefully nothing hard and terrible. We hope for the best, but eclipses do bring radical energies and radical shifts and changes. So it could be that Virgo take a leap of faith and do something creative and get over their fears of doing something they really want and not caring whether it makes them money or not, but getting over that fear they have of survival, giving them the confidence, and then really releasing some kind of old way of making money.
Well, the nectarine blossom
Oh,
is what we've got going on for Virgo, and it activates sweetness and magnifies the desire to be of service or do nice things for others, which I feel like you started off talking about
Right.
Virgo being that already.
Mhm.
So this is really just going to highlight
Yeah.
that for them. And it dissolves that feeling of being attacked, or that people can't be trusted, or that you can't be around too many people. There's a trying to see what else here. An inflammatory energy could also be present. So that could show up physically, that could show up emotionally, spiritually. So just be aware of that, and then call in this flower to maybe soften that energy a little bit.
you know, the truth is K2 Mars square plate Pluto is not, it does pretty intense transit. So although I think it, when I pull cards on it, it seems to be mostly positive, but for some people, this could be an intense transit. Somebody could pass, you could lose a friend, somebody could die, somebody gets in a car crash.
I mean, all those things they're challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, you know, something somehow is redirected by that. So you maybe, I'm trying to think of how that would be, but maybe you lose a friend in this eclipse, and then you
Maybe you start a charity, just
Yeah,
support
maybe
that,
raise
and then you
money.
save all these other
Yeah.
people from a similar fate
Yeah, maybe.
in that way. All right, what about Libra? Oh my gosh.
This is on your first house, so Libra, you guys, this is powerful. All the cardinals are going to really, really feel these eclipses. So if you have any planets in your in that 21-degree range, 4 or 5 degrees before, 4 to 5 degrees above 21. Just utterly shift and change in your relationships. The person you thought you were, that had to be, in other words, Libra would have thought they had to be something to be in a relationship. Like they think they have to be beautiful, or they think they have to be this, or they think whatever they believed in their head that they thought a relationship is or was, now they release. Bam! They just have this big realization that they've been seeking wrong alignment in relationships, and they just radically releasing relationships, people that aren't aligned with them. With the North Node in their 7th house, a lot of that might just be a new relationship. They meet their person, the real person, they release. That happens. Some people are in relationships, when they meet the person they really love, then they dump the other person, they go into the next relationship. And you've got some kind of a fear issue in Pluto in your 4th house. You've been clearing a lot of 4th house karma with Pluto there in Capricorn. With this eclipse squaring your Pluto, you could radically release some rigid idea of your family, or how your family's supposed to be, or where your living is supposed to be. And you have the courage to really live the way you want. You're going to make some sort of radical change around all your cardinal houses. But that 4th house with Pluto squaring it, you may suddenly see the real deep place you do really want to live, and you just move, something pretty intense changes for Libra.
What I find interesting is the nasturtium came up for Libra, and you were talking about being in the right place at the right time to find love or to connect in with that partner. And it literally says that, being in the right place at the right time.
Oh my gosh.
And spontaneity. It activates spontaneity. So just follow where the energy takes you. And you never know what you're going to find. You never know, because you said this is going to be such a life-changing period for them.
Yep.
It magnifies joy and contentment. So the more you're spontaneous and you're following that energy, the more you're lining up with that. Because that Pluto in your 4th house, something about your living and your family has been holding you back. And not really, you've been fear-based around some sort of attachment in family, home, living situation that has kept you kind of stuck. So now you have the confidence and the chutzpah and the desire, and it could come in the form of a new relationship with that Aries North Node. So you do have Neptune on your descendant. So be careful, because the North Node in Aries, you could have very delusional relationships happen now. Like you have a complete delusion, it's illusional. So you want to watch out for that. Be careful. Okay. Scorpio.
Okay, so you guys have everything Libra in your 12th house. Big 12th house eclipse. So you're going to release relationships that are no longer aligned with your soul. Rapid drops of relationships, friendships, but also you may move somewhere far away. And so you lose a lot of people because you move away. You might move to another country, being 12th house, and you let go of where you are, or you let go. I did a reading for one person with a chart like this. They let go of traveling. They went home.
Okay.
So you could let go of the 12th house. You could let go of the living in the rural area, and you now you move somewhere else. But also it is a 12th house, 6th house lunation. So for the next 18 months, you're going to get triggered in your health. So this is a time for Scorpio to really quit addictions and become very healthy. Take new initiatives, initiate new day-to-day routines that are new. This eclipse brings a whole new routine because it's in your, you got Aries, you're going to initiate possibly a new job or a new work environment. Because let's say you let go of traveling and then you come home and you start a new job or you start a new day-to-day routine involving work and everything. So it's basically we're letting go of, this whole, it's almost like a feeling of letting go of a wandering energy and being more deliberate and taking action to really solidify and stabilize a work situation. So Scorpio are stabilizing their work because it's been too erratic. So they're going to be more initiating something that improves their day to day. And that's a wide range of things.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be all kinds of
I know.
things.
It's pretty vague.
So the pink primrose, it activates rapid growth. Messages make it effortless. So when I was hearing you talk about the day-to-day stuff, when I was hearing you talk about traveling, and traveling versus planting roots, it magnifies a sense of being called to action. So your action may not be what you think it was going to be.
Yeah.
And so really being aware of, okay, if you take the energy of this card, the messages make it effortless. So whatever feels effortless and easy is likely going to be the path that's going to take you exactly where it is that you need to go, which may be home.
Right.
Staying
Exactly. That
Yeah.
could be.
So pink primrose.
Yes. I'm just looking at Saturn on this eclipse is trining Mars. Well, Saturn is at 0 degrees. I don't know how it's trining Mars. Mars is at 0 degrees Scorpio. So I'm sorry. Yeah, Mars is in Scorpio, early degree Scorpio in this eclipse, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trining Saturn. So I haven't even added all that into these reads, but that's really good. That's nice. This eclipse is trining Mars. So what that means is that somehow, if a crisis does show up or something, Saturn comes in there and works with Mars to take action that sets things up right for the long term.
Right.
So I just had to add that in.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sagittarius.
Oh, stop. Whoops.
Going too far.
Yeah, I pushed the wrong button. Okay, Sagittarius. There we go. Sagittarius, you guys are having this eclipse in your 11th house, which is fabulous. Aries over your 5th. So you're going to be meeting new people, new friends. I know some Sagittarius that's happening too. And actually a lot of beneficial. This is an eclipse in your 11th house. Old tribe goes away, old people, but a new beginning comes in, a new tribe. And it is very benefic. It enables you to release an old way of because you've got Pluto in your 2nd house. So this enables you some struggle and fears around money. They've been clearing a lot of deep fears around money. And Sagittarius can be really radical and a little off kilter with their spending, the ones I know. They buy everybody dinner out of just randomly, like just
Would you consider yourself one of those? Because you're sad.
I know. I see, but I have my Venus in Capricorn.
Oh, so you're a bit
So
more
it sort
practical.
of holds,
Yeah.
it's a balance. there.
Okay.
I'm
Good.
a little bit more reserved than normal. So they're Pluto, they're overcoming these fears about money, and I really do see that with some Sagittarius. I do definitely have my Pluto. I have Pluto on my Venus right now. That's scares me, but I've gotten over all of that because Pluto's at the end of this lesson. So we've really kind of gotten over a lot of these lessons now, right? So
Great progress.
yeah. So So this Mars squaring is going to give you the guts to take a new way. You're going to meet new people that support a new way of making money that enables you to let go of an old way of making money that was fear-based and survival-based. Now this is thrival-based. This is new expansion. Potentially, though, this comes with eclipsing other friendship groups. There could be a crisis or some sort of unpleasant experience that makes you realize that another group of friends are really letting you down. Subconsciously and deep down, you knew this was true. Now you're going to see it. It might hurt. Old people go, you're done with this group. Too bad. We're going this way. Kind of energy. Let me see what else. Saturn is in your 4th house. So you're re-establishing your living situation. You're restructuring living environment, home environment for the next 3 years. Aries over your 5th. You're initiating new friends, new creative projects. And again, this is a Libra eclipse. So we're letting go of old work partnerships. And these are new work partnership type friendships. And again, if these are romantic relationships that come in, everybody's into their soul contracts. So you're doing this is a very co-mission, co-creative energy because it's Libra. So trades, agreements, ideas, it's all about collaborating. So you meet a new tribe that you can collaborate with.
What I find interesting about all that you're saying with Sag is that, and I was the dandelion came out for Sag, and I'm listening to you and I'm going, how does this flower support Sagittarius? How does it help them? This activates relaxation, and the message is dissolve tension. And I feel like with Sag, sometimes it's like they know where they want to go. They have their sights on this place, but they get caught up in all of the, why, how am I going to do this? And what about that? And I've got to keep pushing and keep striving and keep moving. And sometimes that can be very stressful,
Right.
Building up all of that tension in the body and the mind. And the dandelion saying, hey, it's okay. It's all working out. You may have to let go of some people, but now's the time you're going to get creative and you're going to be able to hit that mark and hit that target, but you've got to relax a little first. So dandelion is, to me, it's one of those flowers that's it's a sleeper flower in a way, where most people, at least in the United States, you see dandelions, it's like a weed, you want to remove them, but they have such power.
Right, they're good medicine.
It really, really is. So I feel like this is another easy one to bring into your world.
Yeah.
Dandelion tea, Sag. Weather's getting cold.
And you know
Have
what's
some
kind of
tea.
interesting is, I don't know why, but I'm seeing, you know how dandelions just are tons of them. They're just all over the field. You know, there are just millions of dandelions everywhere. When you see dandelions, you sometimes see a few, but on the whole, they really, and that's very 11th house of just like lots of people, lots of, you know, so if you're Sagittarius, you might suddenly find yourself on a stage in front of lots of people, or like my son, I'm thinking my son's who's a musician. He really is meeting new piece of people, and I see like him having more crowds in front of him and things like that. So,
which is cool. That's very cool. All right.
Very 11th house, shall we say? Oh, that's an iPad. Is that an iPad?
It's a digital notepad.
Oh, I've never seen that before.
Cool. Okay, Capricorn.
All right, Cappies, you've got this North Node is in your 4th house for 18 months. So it's funny because I was married to a Capricorn when I did my house renovation. And in this, it says Capricorn's North Node Aries, a house renovation. So we did it together.
Funny.
So some sort of project involving a home situation goes forward, family, a new family. In fact, my ex-husband is now living with his nephew. They're sharing a house in Tennessee somewhere with his wife. So it's like, you know, he just moved in. So it's like a new family happens, a new environment, new way of living, new home, new initiatives. You take the initiative to finally move, and you've been there for you've been stuck in this one place for 18 years and you've just been stuck. Maybe you haven't had enough money to buy something else, or anyway, there's movement here around that. And then you have the South Node in your 10th house. So you're going to be letting go of a career thing or some sort of status. Like in Vedic, a lot of times South Node 10th house can be you get divorced because your status changes. The 10th house is your status. If something changes about your status, you let go of being status oriented. Capricorns can be very status oriented, and that can sometimes really shift them onto the wrong direction because they think, oh, status wise, that looks like a good choice, but it's not really in their soul. It's not really creative. It's not part of where they need to go because they've got 5th house Taurus, which means they have to learn how to be more, how to use creativity to create abundance, not just hard work. So So with this with this new moon, then we get a new beginning in a career venture, in a career thing. As you let go of a living situation, again, this is the moving home for job situation could happen. But there is a new initiation in career, in work, and it squares Pluto, which is in your first house. Well, we were just talking about that. How did I forget that? So your whole fears, all your fears of survival have been rattled around in the last, 15, 16, 17 years, what's it, 2008, how many years ago? So since 2008, how many years is that? 2008. So that's 2018 would be, so it's about 15 years. So for 15 years, your fears of survival have been absolutely rattled. I know so many Capricorns that just met such low abundance. They hit the bottom in their abundancy rate. They just didn't understand because they worked so hard. They're career minded, but it was to show them that you're really here to co-create with the divine, not just you. You're not just the worker. You're supposed to align with the universe. So this is a big ego bash for Capricorn, but now they've had that transformation. It's a whole transformation. This is a transformational eclipse because of the square to Pluto, which means something about us completely transforms, but something about us is ready, has grown, has gone through it. We are transformed. We just now see that we have transformed in this eclipse. So for Capricorn, they now have a sense of survival. They're looking at more thrival. They're not afraid of dying anymore. They're like, okay, I came close to dying and I didn't die. So obviously I'm supposed to be here. So who cares what I do next, kind of energy.
Well, anytime you have a near-death experience,
Yeah.
that changes you fundamentally.
Yeah.
And how you view.
Yeah. And most
the world.
Capricorns I know my ex-husband had a couple of really, really tough situations. Like, I'm surprised he's still here.
Well, he needs to be here for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
there's some more to do. So with the nose in your fourth house, a lot of energy going for the next 18 months towards your living situation, moving, and then letting go of whole friendship groups where you obviously lived around before, potentially. So yeah.
So the strawberry blossom for Capricorn activates optimism, and the message is expect the best. And this just feels like a little happy flower for Capricorn. Like, okay, we know you've been through a lot. We know this might be a little bit bumpy, but just know that all of this is just lining you up for the gifts and the treasures and all of the abundance that's there for you, that you've been busting your ass to line up with, and it's there.
Mm-hmm.
This is even feels very bright and cheerful, and just focus on this. This could be your guiding light that you're moving towards.
I think that card really kind of blows my mind, because when Saturn leaves a house, you get a gift. So in other words, Saturn is the deliverance of your karma. Saturn gives you what you need to see so you learn and grow, and it can come hard or it can come okay. It can be a nice gift. You've got to believe that the Capricorn are ready for a gift.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, they are. No
So that's
question.
great.
Awesome. Okay.
Moving along, 2 more to go. Aquarius.
Aquarius, Pluto right on if you're high degree Capricorn, young degree, early degree Aquarius, which is interesting because we had the big Saturn Jupiter conjunction in 0 degrees Aquarius on 2021, December 12, 21, or was it 2020?
Yeah, 20, I think.
Yeah. And so what's interesting about that is that Pluto is at that same degree now. So coming into that degree, so it's aspecting the Aquarius chart. It's for everybody at that same point. So Aquarians, because we're entering into the age of Aquarians are naturally now in this eclipse, because this eclipse happens in their 9th house, they could start traveling, new initiations to travel, or they don't travel. But with Pluto on their ascendant now, they're going to have Pluto in their first house. They're going to be claiming their power. They're going to be in power struggles. They're going to be sticking up for themselves. They're going to be, because Aquarius are the new Earth leaders. They're the people here to anybody that had any planets around that 29 0 degree point of Aquarius are considered the new Earthers. And so I would say that Aquarius are now really ready to take on some sort of intense change in their lives and really show because they've had Pluto in their 12th house. So they've been going through a lot of karmic. So they're really kind of in their power now, and they're really strong, and they're going to be the leaders, and they're going to take us into this new earth. And they've got the backbone for it now, because they've had Pluto over their 12th house, but also they're going to have Pluto in their first house. Pluto in Capricorn and Pluto in Aquarius is much lighter. So the eclipses, I didn't even get to the eclipse part. In their 9th house, they're going to let go of traveling and go home potentially. 3rd house North Node, they're going to put a lot of energy into their local area, neighbors, people that are around them on a day-to-day. They might initiate new projects with that. They were more homesteaded in this time. Travel sort of is released a little bit. Not all Aquarians. Perhaps you do have a new beginning. You let go of traveling to somewhere else, and you new beginning to travel to somewhere different. Like you decide to go to Europe instead of Africa, if you're going to do traveling with your work and your related businesses. So something shifts and changes around travel, but also philosophies. This is again the same axis of eclipsing your belief system, completely seeing the importance of something, and a new way of letting go of an old belief that's been holding you back, letting go of a rigid belief, because 9th house shadow is going to be rigid. So then we go into 3rd house with the North Node there and Chiron there. You have the confidence to start communicating, telling people what you really feel, starting initiating things. This is the Aquarians now. They're going to step forward in the next 18 months. You're going to be hearing them online. They're going to be talking. They're going to have confidence. They're in their power. They're going to stick up for themselves. A lot of Aquarians are on social media. They might get attacked by the censorships. They might get their websites, their platforms challenged or debunked or whatever. So they're gonna have to stick up for themselves, because they're the ones that are bringing in this new change. So they're probably going to be the area of a little bit of the old way coming at them. So that's why they have Pluto there that makes them really strong. So interesting time for Aquarians.
It really is. And they got 2 flowers going on here. So we have the squash blossom, which activates liberation, which whenever I think of Aquarius, I think liberation and freedom. And then we have the royal poinciana, which activates conviction, and the message is ask for what you want, which 3rd house speaking, being able to share a message that maybe inspires people.
Yes.
Gives them a sense of liberation.
And they're bold and courage. They're courageous. I have a repeat client Aquarian here, right? She's at a 1 degree Aquarius, and she's going to have the Pluto right on her ascendant. I'm like trying to tell her in a really nice way. This might be a little intense, but that really resonates.
Yeah, and I love the colors too of this. That we've got the orange of power and the red of being rooted into this earthly plane. Yeah, and Aquarians it's so important that they are in that energetic. Yes,
And also I want to talk about law, because the 9th house is house of law. It's the house that initiates laws. So they may initiate or advocate for new laws. Aquarians might, because they're really the leaders of the new earth. So they might get really proactive and start lobbying for new laws, new environmental laws that change, so they may, if they're involved in law, they initiate a new law. Libra is the law. And 9th house is Sagittarius house, which is the inventor of the law. They write the law. 10th house enforces the law. So a lot of Aquarians are going to lobby and initiate new laws. They might write them. They might get really into writing and they're going to be very rambunctious. They're going to have causes, and they're going to do it because they're here. That's Aquarians are our leaders to the new earth.
All right, wrapping it up with Pisces. Let's see what's going on with them.
Oh, okay, Pisces. Okay, Saturn in your 1st house makes you much more responsible and mature, which I like. Also more serious, more committed to things, this is good for Pisces. My son is one of them. You've got Chiron in your 2nd house with the nodes there, taking initiatives. Good, this makes me feel better about my son. Yes. So you're taking an initiative to increase your income, to work hard. If you have a talent, which most Pisces do, that's the one thing that's so interesting when I read for Pisces. It's like, you're an artist somewhere. They go, I don't know. And somewhere you're an artist. Trust me. It's in there.
And it could be they're
music,
artists,
dancing, creative. Yeah.
Right. Well, my guy is a Pisces ascendant, and his talent is photography,
Yep.
videography, and that's very creative. It's art in its
Wow.
own way.
Yeah, so for 18 months, they're going to be very inspired in their creative, because the second house is very much talent oriented. So it's a really good time for Pisces, because they're going to be inspired and excited on some sort of talented expression, some sort of talented project. Venus ruled, I mean, Aries is Mars ruled, but they're going to be motivated and driven to initiate. And the second house can be talents, things you already possess. You make money, maybe like my son, so funny. He was like, when we moved, we just left all this furniture. Like neither my ex-husband, we didn't fight over anything. My ex-husband and I were like the weird ones that didn't do like you have it or you have it. We didn't want anything. So my sons, we got a storage thing, and we just dumped it all there. And if you ever need money, just sell something from there.
That's
So-
true.
And that's the second house. That's like selling something you possess, selling
Mhm.
things you own. So my son is making all this money selling it, and we're fine with it because at least it's not wasted. He's using it. So we're like, yay. So
Well,
it's like-
maybe you can get rid of the storage unit too.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a way now, but we are looking at creative new incomes now with that North Node. Oops, sorry, I didn't even look at the 8th house eclipse right there. Somebody could pass away. You could get an inheritance. My son's grandmother passed away. Inheritance can come in, some sort of lucky, also with the sun there illuminating. You know, we were talking about that reset. So that resets your concept of finances. This is all about finances for the next 18 months for Pisces. They're going to have a whole new belief about maybe okay to get a loan out. They may wipe out a debt completely and enable something comes through that enables them to wipe out a debt. And then they start to invest. They start, depending on the rest of your chart, they start to take investment and investing seriously. So if I think of my son as an example, you could borrow money. That's the thing. And pays off a debt, or what is it? What was I thinking? 8th house. For him, it's a relationship eclipse. You could meet a person and have sexual, passionate. It could be your person, or it could be just like a sexual relationship that doesn't go anywhere, and it is. And you now let go of those kinds of relationships. You just release those completely. And you want something that's more long lasting, new initiation, new beginning, a new partner comes in. Venus is in your 7th house of Virgo, as awkward as that is. It may be an awkward reconciliation with a past person, and there's awkwardness around it. What else can we look at here? Taurus house in your 3rd house, short distance travel, busy doing things. My son is doing that. So I think that I forget that Mercury is pretty close to all of this. So there's a lot of communication because this is an air energy. So we are looking at communications. What else can I quickly add here? Again, lots of shifts and changes in your finances. Like for instance, my husband and son moved away. So on some level, even though they were cohabitating, it was supportive of him to live with his dad on some level. That's kind of gone now. Sort of external support goes away, makes you rely on your 2nd house more. If you've had alimony, that goes away. You now have to get a job, but this job is really making you happy. It's what is better for you. Everything that happens in the eclipse, as scary as it happens at that point, turns into something much better.
So I love this as our ending
Oh, good.
flower, because it's the navel orange blossom, and the message is it's good to be alive.
Oh,
I think that's a message we can all take
Yeah.
forward. The key to this as it relates though to Pisces, I feel like is when you think about Pisces being creative, they might be feeling a little uninspired right now. And so the navel orange blossom comes in to say, okay, it's okay. Something's coming. We're ready. And the eclipse too, like you were saying at the beginning, you may not see what that is yet, but the navel orange blossom is saying it's right there. It's okay if you feel uninspired, but just know it's good to be alive. There's things coming, and you're going to feel this inspiration and engagement with life, and engagement maybe with the medium that you work with, whether it's music or photography or clay or paint. There's plenty of avenues for you to take. So the navel orange blossom for Pisces.
Well, that kind of interesting, because it almost feels like this eclipse takes something away from them that perhaps they've been leaning on, that's stopping them from fully expressing who they truly are. And now they kind of have to sort of get out there and do them, you know,
Could-
on a sort of, they just say, you know what, I'm throwing myself more into this and expressing more. And letting go of fear, you know, being in the eighth house. Again, I forgot that whole part. The eighth house can be fears. So they're letting go of fear of not surviving financially.
Well, it seems like everyone is going to be
Yeah.
in that fear place
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah.
in some way. And being able to see the fear and do something anyway and move forward.
Feel the
Barb,
fear and do it anyway. I remember reading that book once. So
think
yeah, that would sum up this eclipse. But we really are entering in my opinion, a really abundant period here for the next 18 months. 18 months when this eclipse is happening, but this is another 18-year cycle that we're all going to be looking at. And there's trines here, there's air trines, there's a lot of really good aspects in this eclipse that indicates to me that these are new, really auspicious beginnings, that they're really taking us to our brighter, better, more abundant destiny, you know, and it might show up as the crisis, but it's going to set you onto the right path that is way better.
always does.
I know.
Always does.
Yeah.
So Barb was just saying thank you for the information.
Oh, good.
You are
Barb was
welcome,
there.
Barb.
Hi,
We
Barb.
are glad that you were here and joined us today. And thank you for all those that were here and that stuck with
Were
us through
patient with us.
our technical things. And yeah, we'll be back in probably closer to 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
This was a little bit early. And we'll be talking about the next eclipse, which will be a lunar eclipse. So be sure to like, to comment, to share on my channel as well as Madelaine's. And we wish everyone a beautiful
Yeah.
New
eclipse season.
moon
Yeah. Take
and-
it easy. Take it this flow with the go. I say flow with the
flow
go.
with it. Well, I mean, it's all flowy.
Yeah.
It's all goey.
Yeah.
Whether we
Yeah,
wanna-
like it or not. I mean, these eclipses basically are bringing us results that we don't really have any control around. So you're better off just not resisting it, and just the more positive you are about what's happening, the more you shift into the higher aspect of your chart that's going on in that eclipse. Because there's always a way through. There's always, if something gets ended, because eclipses end things, but at the same time, there's trines, and the trine is the open door way through. So
there's
focus-
that triangle.
Yeah, there's that triangle. you
There's
were
that
talking about.
triangle.
It guides you to the open door. And this eclipse really does have a beautiful air trine.
Mhm.
With
So-
Saturn, well, let's see, the trine is with air to the Pisces energy, Saturn. You know, there's a trine with Libra, Saturn is a trine house, and then Aries is a sextile house to Pisces, for instance. So a lot of there's, so in everyone's chart, there's some sort of easy opening that helps you, that will be the fix.
Just walk right through.
Yeah, and one thing I just want to quickly add, whenever there's stress or crisis in one house, the opposite house is the solution. So in this eclipse, your Aries house is your solution. So for instance, if you're Pisces, you lose some sort of income or alimony or some sort of financial thing that you were relied on from outside sources goes away. Your solution is you get a new job.
That's
in the
very
second
helpful.
house.
I hope everyone
Yeah.
really takes that piece away. I
Yeah,
think
Aries, Libra, you let go of a relationship, Aries, a new relationship.
Yeah.
The solution is you need to get a new relationship. So just that.
and it will happen. It's not like you have
Yes.
to go seeking it. It just
Yeah.
will show up. So we thank you for being here. It was amazing to have you and super fun for Madelaine and I to be here together and
Yay.
share our magic with you. And we will see you in a few weeks.
Bye.
Bye for now.